CNN investigation has uncovered children being purposely orphaned. Mothers think they're temporarily giving up their children to be educated. Instead, they're sold to adoptive families who think they are taking an orphan in need. Randy Kay tonight has part one of our CNN exclusive investigation, Kids for Sale.
Her name is Namada, and this is her in Ohio with her adoptive family. Oh, God. Namada was born here in a tiny village in Uganda. But in 2015, when she was just 5, Jessica and Adam Davis adopted her. They call her Mada. The Ohio couple already had 4 children of their own, but wanted to take in an orphan. In October 2014, they got the call from their adoption agency, European Adoption Consultants.
What did they tell you when they called you about Mada?
We were told her father was deceased, that she was being severely neglected at home, and her mother was leaving her open to abuse.
Couldn't provide an education.
Yeah, never had been in
couldn't provide
school.
daily sustenance.
They just kept saying this is a mother that does not want her child.
So it was made clear to you that Mada's mother was relinquishing her, didn't want her.
Oh, 100%.
There's no question.
No, not at all.
In April 2015, the Davises flew to Uganda to meet Mada, their new daughter.
She was in an orphanage, no toys, bars on the windows.
The orphanage was called God's Mercy, and it was about 4 hours from Mada's village. By September 2015, Mada was in Ohio, bonding with her new siblings. But after about 6 months, as Mada's English started to improve, she opened up to Jessica Davis about her life in Uganda, and what she shared was alarming. Mada told Jessica that her biological mom was a really good mom who loved her. She even detailed how her mother there would walk her to school every day.
Every single thing in that file and that we were told, aside from the file, she unraveled to be a lie.
A lie? How could that be? Jessica alerted the U.S. State Department.
What did you tell the State Department?
Everything that she had told me, everything was not true, and it sounds like she has a mother out there that really loves her, and possibly a father.
What were you afraid you'd find?
That we had somehow participated in taking a child from a loving family.
Yeah.
Their fears would be realized. Jessica contacted an organization run by Karen Riley, who actually found Mada's biological mother in Uganda and arranged a video reunion.
Why are you so excited, Mada?
Because I get to talk to my mom.
How nice. Are you happy?
Yeah.
We are doing fine. How are you? So good, Sandy.
And in that moment, everything changed. The real story of why she was given up by her mother to this family in America was exposed.
With that FaceTime call, she learned
The true story.
that her mother was tricked.
Tricked, the Davises say, because Mada's mother was lied to. She was told the Davises were simply sponsoring her daughter's education in America, not adopting her. And that, if you can believe it, was just the tip of the iceberg. Because the Davises have learned their experience is not unique. In fact, a CNN investigation has discovered that multiple families have been duped. It works like this. Children are being taken from their homes, placed in orphanages, even though they weren't orphans, then sold for as much as $15,000 a child to unwitting American families. The promise of education with an ultimate return home, all just a ruse.
They will hone in on vulnerable families, usually being single parents, widows. Would you like an educational opportunity for your children?
Karen Riley, who is an advocate for Ugandan children and runs a group called Reunite Uganda, says a villager turned trafficker usually makes a sales pitch to mothers at a local church. Mada's village, she says, was targeted.
That's how it all started at the beginning, is the person who came to the church. And that's what happened in that particular village. So 7 children went from a tiny village, the same village.
This affidavit from the Ugandan government's investigation, one of many documents obtained by CNN, has a statement from Mada's mother. I had not realized that I had gone through a process to take away my parental rights completely. She states clearly she thought Mata was going to be educated and returned back to me.
I don't want to see another mother go through this.
A Ugandan court says Mata's referral form to God's Mercy Orphanage is fraudulent. It says Mata's mother is helpless. The reason given for referral: no care is provided by the mother. The referral form is dated October 21, 2014, exactly 1 week after the Davises say they got the call that Mata was available for adoption. At the time of that call, the Davises now believe Mata wasn't an orphan at all, but still living at home with a mother who loved her.
If our child had been taken from us, we would want our child back.
So the Davises did something remarkable. They filed paperwork to have the adoption vacated. They would take Mata back to her birth mother.
Did you have the State Department's blessing?
They were saying, you know, you can just keep her if you want. I said to them, I didn't purchase her at Walmart.
I don't know.
Yes, you did.
1 year after they brought Mata home to Ohio, this.
So Mata, what's today?
I'm going home.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Are you going to Uganda?
Yeah.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you see your mom?
Hug home.
Aw.
Is this a long flight or a short flight?
Long.
After a 14-hour journey, Mata finally arrived home to her village. In September 2016, the Ugandan government officially gave parental rights back to Namada's biological mother. But Jessica's story wasn't unique. Enter Stacey Wells.
I just wasn't in it to buy a child. I didn't need a child.
Stacey Wells and her husband Sean already had 2 sons, but in 2016 they adopted 7-year-old Viola from Uganda. They worked with, you guessed it, the same company the Davises used, European Adoption Consultants. They too paid around $15,000 to the company. They say that agency told them a story strikingly similar to Namada's, but this time it was about Viola.
What did they tell you about her mother?
They just said that she had abandoned the girls, that after the dad died, they told us that she didn't feed them, that they were found sick, like dying basically.
Viola, it turns out, was taken to the same orphanage as Mata, God's Mercy. But later, at her new home in West Virginia, as Viola became fluent in English, the truth started to unfold.
A lot of it was how she talked about her mother. Her experience in her home just did not match the paperwork.
Stacey, who spoke exclusively with CNN, also contacted Reunite Uganda to find Viola's biological mother. Karen Riley told us Viola's mom was also lied to by local traffickers, using the same false promise of education in America.
Viola wasn't an orphan. In fact, she was made an orphan so you could adopt her.
Right, right.
Stacey traveled back to Uganda in November 2016 and reunited Viola with her mother.
I mean, she was just running, and we get out, and her mother just embraces me.
Viola's adoption was a fraud, and Stacey says it's all about money.
They are getting the orphans because there's a dollar sign. You know, a market's been created.
A market for children with a pipeline, it appears, back to the United States, which is where European Adoption Consultants is headquartered, and where we found the director of EAC's Africa Adoption Program.
You helped organize the Uganda adoptions.
No, there was people in Uganda that did it. I did not.
Were these mothers lied to?
No, absolutely not.
Randy joins us now. I mean, the story of what happened to these families, girl, it's obviously heartbreaking. How many families could be affected here?
It's hard to say how many other families, Anderson, were misled or tricked, but we may have just scratched the surface, actually. We have been told about at least 2 other girls from Uganda. They're actually Viola's sisters who were adopted by American families, and so far those women have been unwilling to reunite the girls with their mother in Uganda.
So you mentioned the orphanage where Mata and Viola were taken. Is that still open?
The Ugandan government has told us, Anderson, that orphanage has actually been closed. They found that they were operating illegally, processing guardianship orders fraudulently, and yes, trafficking children. We weren't able to reach anyone from that orphanage to ask about this since it has been closed. But meanwhile, the FBI and the State Department have been investigating EAC and its ties to this alleged trafficking scheme. In fact, last year, the State Department debarred and shut down that adoption agency for 3 years after finding that EAC failed to adequately supervise its foreign country providers to ensure that they didn't engage in the sale, abduction, or trafficking of children. No charges have been filed against EAC, but the FBI told us the investigation is ongoing, Anderson.